wonderful to see you. City and county officials, members of the media, school and community leaders, wandering neighbors, hungry people driving the 14 that saw the tent, anyone and everyone. I am Devoe, the principal of Vasquez High School, and I welcome all of you to the long-awaited, groundbreaking ceremony for the new home of the Mustangs of Vasquez High School. A quick thanks before we begin to Heather Koo and her culinary arts staff for wonderful refreshments today. Thank you, all of you. Siri and the ROP Stagecraft team for our stage and sound. Thank you guys very much for all your work this morning. A special thanks to Yolanda McCauley, who orchestrated this, and it would not be nearly this nice without her. Thank you, Yolanda. It's hard to comprehend how much perseverance has gone into making today happen, and I'm a recent arrival, having been here for 2 years. This is a project and a dream that started almost 20 years ago, and you'll hear from the people that have been most instrumental in bringing us to this day in the next half hour or so. This community has been through a lot to try to expand from the K-8 district it once was, and was for 100 years, plus 100 years, into a full K-12 unified district. And I'm just very proud to be the principal that's able to see it after a series of many principals. I'm proud to be the one that can usher it in, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. Under the direction of our Advanced Vocal Group Director, Amy Ciceri, our Advanced Vocal Group heard will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Superintendent of Schools for the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District, Dr. Brent Woodard.
Welcome, everybody. I appreciate being here and having the opportunity to talk to you today. I would be remiss if I didn't thank some of the key individuals that have been working on this project. And I can tell you it's extensive. But I think there are generally, let's say, 4 individuals that I'd like to recognize today. As far as from the very beginning, when we started this project, it was a situation where we literally had to start over. I know you've heard the stories and some of those things, but I think it's critical to recognize those gentlemen that really stayed with me through all of the trials and tribulations of a project like this. And we often talk about, character and how it, trying times kind of builds character, and in this case, obviously, I disagree. I think it really reveals it. The gentlemen that stayed with me from the very beginning have revealed their character in such a way that it's outstanding, and these are gentlemen I go to war with anytime and be in a foxhole with. So, Jim Bose being critical. Jim, if you would stand, please. Met with me in this office up here from day one, and we started dreaming that dream. And this gentleman has a wealth of information and knowledge, and really has instructed me in ways to kind of bring this project to fruition. Without Jim, we wouldn't be here. It's that simple. To this day, and even till yesterday, being instrumental in helping Jim Brackett and some of the folks at GTS, making sure that we had people on site, and the grading is now commenced as of, what, a day or two ago? Is that right, Jim? So anyway, Jim, I can't thank you enough. Greatly appreciate the fact that he also was instrumental in making sure that this project also has a $14 million match that is hopefully someday going to happen. That would not have happened either without Jim. So Jim, thank you very much. Secondly is Gary Christofi. Gary, if you could stand. Gary is our lead architect on this project, and we all know, obviously, there's been some trials and tribulations as well as it relates to Gary and some of the history around that. However, Gary in no time lost faith. Gary in no time folded his hands or his tent and went home, and he was always there in every meeting. I don't know how many meetings we've had over the years, but I can't tell you again, Gary, I appreciate your perseverance, staying with it, staying with the tide, and I appreciate your work on this project. Well, obviously would not have happened without Gary either. Gary, thank you. I don't know, I don't see Tony Jacob. Is Tony here? There he is. Tony Jacob in the back from JT Engineering has been on this project also, day one, literally within weeks and months after Jim and I met. We brought Tony in as the lead engineer on this project. Again, trials and tribulations and, export and all these issues. At no time did Tony want to throw his hands up and leave and walk off. I can't thank Tony enough. He's donated countless dollars of his own money, time, effort, and energy through his engineering firm. Between you and your brother John, I greatly appreciate your efforts, and it would, again, none of this would have happened without Tony being at those meetings from the very beginning. Thank you. And lastly, as far as the lead team, I wanted to thank Will. Will, if you would stand, please. Will was also the director of M&O, if you will, from the very beginning. And again, Will has been my right hand, and he does all the dirty work. He does all the stuff that obviously just has to get done. And and I can't tell you again, Will, how much I appreciate you being by my side the entire time. Thank you very much for your work and perseverance in this project. Then we came to JTS, and let me tell you again, as you all know the history there. There was a little bit of history and need for perseverance as well in the project, and our first cut wasn't close. We knew that, they knew that, but yet we went back to the drawing board and we were able to make a project with their assistance and their creativity, knowledge, and expertise around this particular development. Really led us to the point where we are today, and there's several individuals, and I'll probably mess this all up, so there's Adam and Phil Engler. I don't know if either one of those gentlemen are here, and then Lee Hawkins. That's Lee right here, and then we also have Jim Brackett. Okay, and he's the
project manager.
That's right. I didn't know if you're superintendent or. There you go. So all of the JTS individuals, if you could stand up, please, just quickly. I think it's important to know. I greatly appreciate them bringing us within project parameters and where we could actually see this happen. I can't tell you again, gentlemen, how much I appreciate it. Jim, even as with working with other Jim, making some of these things happen Saturdays and Sundays, responsiveness to emails, etc., have just been phenomenal. I greatly appreciate your effort. Thank you. And then there's a couple other individuals. I apologize, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of folks that really had a hand in this. And as we take a look at whether it be Bruce Hick from Earth Systems, Bruce has been a consultant from the beginning, has really been instrumental. Again, is Bruce here? No, I didn't see him, but thank you, Bruce, and appreciate your efforts. We also have the State Allocation Board, the Office of Public School Construction, and I think even more critical than those individuals was Norm Hickling. Norm, if you would stand, please. Again, from the very beginning, Norm has been instrumental in putting this together, whether it be the all-hands meeting at the county from the very beginning, getting everybody from DSA together, and really a collaborative ideal, even up until the help of the water. Norm has always been there for us and always been supportive of this project and been responsive within hours, if not minutes, of any kind of request. Norm, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you. And lastly, and in no way least, obviously we have quite a few board members here, some from the very beginning, and Leona Sexton, who started this years ago with Mark, and I think Larry was there as well, and then obviously with the additions as over the years. But these individuals, again, have stayed with me, meaning it's frustrating at times to go through a construction project. It's not easy. There's a lot of manipulation and development that has to happen in order to get us here. All of these individuals that you have today on the board have kept the faith, have understood the process, have been able to kind of look past a lot of those challenges that we have and know that it's going to happen. And we're not done yet. We've had some challenges from the very beginning, whether it be the water and the drought, as I mentioned, or just getting mobilized from the very beginning with construction people. So it's just the beginning, but at the same time, I'm confident with the team that we have on this project that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen on time, and I know these gentlemen have committed to making that happen. So again, with the Board of Trustees, I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If all of you could just stand, please. Thank you very much for your support and obviously direction and guidance over the years. Each and every one of you have made a contribution. So as we get to this point, these hard hats and the shovels are yours to keep as just, if you will, symbolic of the fact that you were instrumental in making that happen. The hard hats are there for you when you come on site, and we obviously would like you to wear them. But you're welcome to come on site. Let me know anytime you want to be here. Bring your hard hat. Bring a shovel if you want, but you maybe can be able to help out Jim and his crew. So anyway, thanks again very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your support. So with that, I know we have a couple different individuals, but the last thing I wanted to clearly mention, the whole idea of why we're here today is because of the students that you've seen here in the back, as well as the programs that we have in culinary arts, whether it be the music program, obviously core, math, science, English, language arts, those things. And I'll tell you, these kids and the teachers that have taught here over the last 20 years have really been significant and really, again, you want to talk about perseverance and putting themselves in a situation every day, whether it's hot, windy, cold, rainy, whatever the situation is, they still come to school, they still get a quality education, and our teachers have been phenomenal in making sure that happens. So, there's quite a few individuals I could go on all day to thank, but mostly all of us are here primarily and first and foremost for the kids that you see and the programs that they'll be participating in on a daily basis. Thanks again, you guys, kids, students, that have also shown a resilience beyond my wildest imagination and expectation. So with that, we can move on.
We have representatives from the state and the county here today to present certificates or scrolls to Dr. Woodard and our district. I'd like to first call up from the State Senator Steve Knight's office, Lisa Moulton, to present a certificate to Dr. Woodard.
Well, good morning. It's a great day here in Acton Agua Dulce School District, and on behalf of the Senator, I am just thrilled to be here today to be here for this groundbreaking, and we look forward to being here for the grand opening in, what, a couple years?
No, actually, we're looking at a year.
A year? How exciting. Okay. So in a year, we'll be back for the grand opening. We're excited about that. The Senator unfortunately couldn't be here today. He's busy in Sacramento, but I know he wishes you all the very best and congratulates you on this new chapter in your school district's history. So congratulations.
And now Norm Hickling, who was introduced earlier by Dr. Woodard, is here representing Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, 5th District.
Thank you, Ty.
It's an honor to be here. On behalf of Supervisor Antonovich, it has truly been a journey that you have all been through. And Dr. Woodard was talking about a 20-year journey. Well, I have not had the privilege to be a part of every moment of that 20 years, but there were times when you came into the office, but you always got the sense this was going to happen. We got a hurdle, and we're going to get through it. We just need a little help and figure out how to do this. And it was always dedicated towards the kids and many of those students that you don't even know. And so to the board, to the superintendent's office, to the faculty and the staff, and to you, all the students that hung in there and are making this happen, congratulations and God bless you. So on behalf of Supervisor Antonovich, we just joined in this celebration. You better start these machines up real quick before anything changes so we get done in a year, okay?
To provide a deeper sense of our school history, please welcome our next speaker, Mr. Andy Anderson from Vasquez High School's first graduating class, 1997.
Well, this is exciting. I was part of the first graduating class, 1997, and I can't believe how long ago that was. I was asked to just take a couple of brief minutes and shed a little bit of light of what it was like back then. We did actually meet on the campus of the junior high school, which is now over off of Crown Valley, and we shared the campus with the junior high, so that was a little interesting. Another thing was we played football on a field also at that school, which received the nickname the Rock Garden. Other teams that came in claimed that rocks grew from the ground. So actually after some time we had to hold our home games elsewhere because teams refused to come and play with us on our home field. Another thing that I remembered thinking back was how close-knit we were as the first graduating class. You know, we had our different groups we hung out with, but we were always hanging out together. You know, you had the musicians and the jocks and, you know, the different groups, but we were always together in the quad. And I think that says a lot about the town of Acton here. That you know, we have our diversities, but we all come together, and I really enjoyed that. I actually spent probably over 20 years of my life here growing up, and collectively back and forth or whatnot. But it's a special town and a special place. And it's very exciting to see this project moving forward. There were rumors of this project when I was in school, almost 20 years ago. And it's very fun to see it move forward at this point. I believe there were 90-something in our graduate class, if I remember correctly. The herd will now perform our
final speaker this morning currently serves as the president of the governing board for our school district and has served on the board for 8 years, I believe. 8.5 years. Please welcome Mr. Mark Distaso.
Good morning, everybody. This project marks over 2 decades of effort from the time in the early 90s that a school board and a community came together to decide that they wanted to unify the school district. And therefore, needless to say, it's been a long time in coming. There have been countless cohorts and said generations of kids that have passed through this school without the benefit of a permanent campus and all of the things that you would typically, high school kids would typically enjoy. Friends and families and their kids that we all know have come and gone. We just met one. Former board member Leoma Sexton's child is now 28 years old, having passed through this school district. My own son Ryan is graduating this June, and is another individual that will not see the school. And there has been over the years those that have argued, and there have been fights and disagreements. I've been knee-deep in those, trying to come up with the project that is going to best serve this community in the future. And through it all, we've come to this point in time. It got to the point where I honestly was ready to throw the towel in as of last year. But I had incoming board members that still had at least 3/4 of the tank of fuel and wanted to persist and move forward. I was ready to throw the towel in and say that I did my best and walk away. But renewed by their energy, we continued on, and it's culminated in this little ceremony today. I would like to thank, and they've been thanked already, but I'd also like to thank them on behalf of the entire school board, Supervisor Antonovich and Norm Hickling, for the efforts that they have put forward over the years, including just the last few weeks to try and get water for this project. If I didn't know better, I would say that this project and this school has just been cursed when it has come to try and get the planners to line up to get a campus built. I don't know that if anybody recognizes just how difficult it is to build a public project in the state of California. Throw on top of that a couple more multipliers when it comes to the Department of State Architecture and the requirements that are necessary for schools. And when we were told that we may not have water for this project because of the drought, it was what else could possibly happen. But because of the supervisor's office and Norm, we've been able to pull this through. So I think it's time to start looking forward, put the past in the past, and begin to celebrate the fact that this community in Acton, Dulce, and the kids that live here and go to school here will finally be able to attend the school that they deserve. And for that, it has renewed the energy in my tank. And I can tell you that with all the grappling that I and my fellow board members do on a bi-weekly basis as we argue over issues and direction, the one thing that we have never had argument on is to give priority to getting a high school built and making sure that our kids get what they so rightly deserve. So with that, I consider today a day of celebration, and the past, and let's move on. Hooray.
series of pictures, ceremonial pictures to take. I ask that all the board members, current board members, and Dr. Woodard, if you could please join me over here for our hard hats and gold shovels. I wanted to thank Mark Allgood, owner of Ace Hardware, for providing the shovels, Bryce Barnes for painting some gold, Gene Beller, Gene's here, still working, our general contractor for hard hats, and Caesar from Acton Print Shop with the logos and names on each hat. Gentlemen, if you could please grab your hat and stand behind your shovel. I'd also like to introduce Miss Wendy Barnes, our Dean of Students. After this first ceremonial picture, we have a series of additional pictures with city officials, county officials, community leaders that we wish to have taken. So, gentlemen of the board and superintendent, if you could remain as well after these initial shots for some others to come through.
Don't look very happy. Come on. Everybody grab it, at least hold on to each other. There you go. We wouldn't want you to do any work.
You never know.
You've always done all the hard work. All right, put a foot up on there.
There you go.
All right, there we go, guys. Right here for one.
I think I found an artifact. I'm just kidding.
For the next picture, if we can have the board, superintendent, architect, general contractor, and team come up, please.
Is that earth from over there? Or
Yes.
over there? Oh,
Gentlemen, need to get you all as well. Share the show. You get it? You got it?
This is video.
Okay.
We need you to move for video. So wiggle around.
How much dirt do you want us to move?
Throw some dirt. Go ahead. That's good. If you got it.
No, don't throw dirt.
Not too much. More water.
Thank you. Next up, board, superintendent, city officials, and county officials.
Yeah, Lisa's. I can't wear a hat. I'll mess up my hair. Yeah.
Board, superintendent, principal, and PTSO.
Just in closing, and I don't know if this was done as deeply enough as it needs to be said, we're very, very fortunate in these last 5.5 years to have a district leader in Dr. Woodard that had the tenacity and resilience to push through and get this project done. We've seen a variety of different construction efforts. Jim is no longer there as an example, that weren't done the way it should have been done. And I think in light of the recession, in light of increasing ridiculous code, it makes it so difficult, as Mark alluded to build a public facility in the state of California, and in the light of declining enrollment. For Dr. Woodard to have pulled this off is heroic. And I'd like to take a moment, if you could join me in thanking Dr. Woodard for leading us through to this moment. Now it's time to celebrate. Please take a moment. If there's more pictures that need to be done, or if the press has a request for certain pictures, we can certainly do that here. Our culinary students have spent a lot of time baking and cooking some things up for you. Please grab something and please enjoy. Now that the wind dies down, of course, at the end of our ceremony, you can take a moment to enjoy the sun and the weather. Thank you so much for coming.
That's probably for the free. Good, how are you? Hi, how are you doing? I've seen you for a while. Yeah. Yes.
My name's Heather Koo. Okay. Oh, and Heather, you're in charge of the Vasquez Culinary.
Yes, I am. I'm the Culinary Arts and Beginning Foods teacher.
Okay. This is absolutely beautiful. Very well done and appropriate for groundbreaking.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, now you.
It's worked very hard.
Okay, and you mentioned something about your favorite.
My favorite? Oh, well, I'm a dessert person, so desserts are always my favorite. I think the dark chocolate brownies and the lemon tarts are my favorite thing on the table. Even though I know I should eat my vegetables, but still, desserts are always my favorite.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, is that a special cracker or a cookie?
Yes, those are, on the far end, those are Parmesan thyme crackers, and the front here we have, it's kind of a slightly spicy cheddar cheese cracker, kind of like a southern cheese straw, but we made them into a cracker form, just so they're a little easier to eat. And then we have a green goddess dip up front, along with a cream cheese cranberry orange dip. And then we have starting in the front here, we have a cream cheese chive dip. It's great with veggies. It's got a little sour cream in it. A French onion dip, which is kind of like a homemade version of that dip that everybody loves to eat with potato chips. And then we have a hummus back there. It's got some garlic and cumin in it. And then we have some pita chips. We got dark chocolate brownies, lemon tarts with lemon curd and blueberries, and we have a variety of cookies on the very end as well.
How great. You're in here too. It is wonderful. Okay, Dr. Woodard, you had some great things to say about the current board, about how it all came together. Please reiterate what we had said.
Well, I was just talking to you a little bit about the fact that all of the probably 8 or 9 different construction projects that I've been involved with over the years in school construction, this by far is the best team that I've ever been associated with, all the way from the board of trustees to the contractors to the consultants that we have on this project. And if it wasn't for these folks, I'm telling you, the challenges that we face, I really honestly don't believe this project would come to fruition. lastly, and mostly important, is the community and the support and the perseverance that they have demonstrated has been phenomenal. I can't tell you again how much I've appreciated community support and backing this project.
Well, it's a great day for everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Hickling. What a great day for Acton, Agua Dulce, and Vasquez High.
It truly is. And thank you very much for allowing me the chance to be here. But it is a great day. It's been a long journey and a lot of ups and downs on this project. But the community's come together. They persevered, had a lot of faith, a lot of hope, and here we are today doing the groundbreaking.
And Supervisor Antonovich, here at the last minute, helped finally to get it through. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, the supervisor's office and myself was notified that there was a problem that they might not be able to get construction water and for the project, which is absolutely necessary. Obviously, when you do grading, you got to put water on it, and of course, any kind of building.
Right.
So with that, there was some concern because of the drought conditions, and we were able to work with the Los Angeles County Water District and able to make sure that this project, they understood the importance of it, which they did, and they were very good about working out all the details that we needed to do in order so that we could have water here for the project. So they have water for their construction.
Well, thanks again, and thank you for your ongoing efforts here with the park and the library, and now we're actually going to be educated in the new high school.
And it's a pleasure on behalf of Supervisor Antonovich to do such.
Thanks. Well, Larry, you've been a trustee here through many meetings and ups and downs, and your grandchildren have gone here. Today's a wonderful day.
It is. I wish it could have been a little sooner so they would have been able to be a part of it. But we've got it now for the kids, and that's what we wanted from the beginning. And came so close to giving up, as Mark was saying.
Sure.
But one of our consultants, Ernesto Flores, said it's now or never if you're going to get any matching funds.
Yeah.
And that convinced the board to not give up.
Yes.
And I think, from my view, it was like going shopping. I love to drive Cadillacs, and we'd like to have had a much bigger, nicer school.
Yeah.
But when you go to town with only $13 million in your pocket, you get the best you can for the money, and that's what I believe we've done.
Well, that's good. That's good, and thank you from the community for sitting through all those meetings and keep pushing the ideal forward until today.
Thank you.
Well, Mark, congratulations. You've sat in the hot seat over the years and through many, many meetings and so forth. What does it feel like today on a personal level?
Relief.
One
word is relief. I was ready to give up myself and count myself as one of those parties that tried and failed with all of the struggles that we've had, and to see it finally happen is a tremendous relief.
And your son Ryan is off to Boston University, so he must have gotten a good education here in spite of not having the best buildings and so forth. The teachers and the community seem like he's going to represent them well.
Yes, you know, it's always been kind of a lagging issue to overcome as to the reputation of the school. But the fact is the school has a great academic program. It's only going to be enriched and enhanced by the new school and the state-of-the-art labs and science rooms. But this school has in no way compromised our kids at all. We've had a large number of kids get accepted to the top universities across the nation. We had a very large number of kids get accepted into all of the UC school system campuses. So they've excelled, and they're not lacking in their education. They may be lacking in resources, but that's about to change, and it's just going to help enhance that education experience.
Sure, well, congratulations. Thanks for all your hard work on behalf of the community over the years.
All right, John, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Great. Well, good morning, Sheriff Short. And
morning, John. How are you?
I'm good. And I'm just wondering, this great day for Acton, agua dulce, I wonder if you have any comments about law enforcement. Will it help, hinder?
Well, I think having a permanent school that the kids can be part of.
Yeah.
We don't have any issues now, but I'm sure that the students would take a different view as far as, what they do with their community. I think they'll feel more involved.
Yeah.
Because now they have a permanent place they can be.
Sure.
And a place that, we can come see them, go to visit classes.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be better all the way around.
Cool.
Okay.
So, Mr. Devoe, what a great day, huh? To finally...
Fantastic day. Finally, after so many years and so many hurdles, we're finally breaking ground on the new high school, and the students will get what they've deserved for 2 decades. A permanent facility with state-of-the-art technology and classroom instruction. I couldn't be happier.
Is it going to be a major task or to move out of the old buildings into the new? Or
it's a good question. We've talked about how we're going to make that happen. We have some early work slated for the winter break prior, so winter break coming up 14-15.
Sure.
We get the keys. The slot right now is June 15th. And so the majority of the work will be done right after school lets out, literally right after graduation and probably leading up to it as we begin to shuttle pieces in. And ordering, we have many things being shipped. Imagine 500 student desks,
right.
30 to 40 teacher and
right.
workstations, and all the equipment that goes along with it. You don't just store that easily in a closet, So
yeah,
it's going to take quite a bit of orchestration, but we've already begun discussing it, and it's something we think we can pull off. We have enough time to get that done, so it's going to be a real busy summer of 2015. And the other thing too is we're planning a ribbon cutting ceremony, probably in that late part of August, just before the fall of 2015 school year begins, in which we'll have a huge event. Even now, I'm inviting the community. Make sure you come by in late August and take a look with live band, bounce house, tours of the facility. We're really looking forward to that as well.
Oh, that'll be another great day.
Yes.
To get that done. Although I'm seeing that your graduates have the spirit of Vasquez. They're going to prestigious colleges, so the teachers have done their job, and the kids academically have not suffered.
That's right. Thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that, and I agree with you. We have many students going to private universities, UC schools, UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine.
Yeah, University of Boston.
Yes, absolutely.
East Coast. Well, congratulations for today and best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Well, Leona, you sat many years as a trustee on the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Board of Trustees when you talked about this high school, and now it's actually starting. What are your feelings?
Well, I'm excited. My son wanted to come today, but I neglected to tell him that it was going to be today, and he had to work. So he graduated 2004. My daughter graduated 2005, and then that's when I went on the school board. 2005 to serve 5 to 9.
Right.
And it was a great experience. Working on the bonds and all that was very exciting. It's wonderful to see that they're finally going to get a school in because this community really needs it, and I think it'll really help the district a lot.
Yeah. Well, I can remember those early days when it was just an idea and a dream, and people thought they could do it, but one hurdle after another seemed to come in the way, and some people drifted away.
And finally, the hurdles are all gone, and now there's going to be a school.
Now there's going to be a school. Okay. Well, thanks very much for your insight.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Christofi, you're the lead architect finally on Vasquez High School. What's going to happen now after we've...
Well, for the next couple of months, we're going to have grading happen on this site where we grade, and we basically take dirt from the bottom where we're building the catch basin and putting it up where the pad is going to be for the buildings. And this is part of phase 1 where we have the administration classroom buildings.
Yes.
We're hoping that with a matching fund from the from the state.
Yes.
Another $14 million. We'll be able to build phase 2, which is the gymnasium.
Yes.
And the parking lots for the staff and the students. So, but for right now, we're starting on the grading.
And you the supervising architect through the whole project?
Yes, I have been. From Christofi Architects. And basically run the project. I will be running the construction administration also.
Oh, I see.
So I'm part of every meeting. I've been part of every meeting for the last 5 years.
Right. Now, the total budget for this project, what did it finally turn out to be?
It was $14 million.
$14 million, and many of the classrooms are prefab?
All the buildings are prefabricated, but they look exactly like stick-built. In fact, they'll be slab on grade. You won't be able to tell the difference once they're built.
Oh, I see. And the kids, you guarantee that their scores are going to go up, right?
I can't
Does that come with the job?
I can't control that, but I'm hoping that their scores go up because it's going to be a better environment to study in.
Sure.
It's a smart community. There's smart kids here, so I'm sure they'll do really well.
Well, on behalf of the community of Acton, agua, dulce, thank you very much.
Well, thank you
for your perseverance and sticking with it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Well, Trustee Porter, what a great day for the board.
Well, it certainly is. It's been a long time, coming, and it's almost surreal. I didn't think I'd see this day. Very, very happy.
Kind of anticlimactic after all these meetings and months and years, and now it happened.
Well, the hardest part in this whole thing is we initially passed the bond, right? And then as we're going through, we designed the school for $27 million.
Right.
And we go through DSA, we go through all the different hoops that we have to jump through, all the different government agencies.
Right.
Those plans approved, which was a big investment on our part.
Yes.
Of that bond money.
Yeah.
And then the state says, well, you know what? Number one, we're broke. And number two, we want to get out of the school building business altogether, right? And so that left us with a challenge. Do we go back to the drawing board and start from square one, or what can we do here? So we sent a bunch of plans together, different alternatives, Plan A through Plan H.
Sure.
And we had community meetings, if you remember, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And we chose Plan E, the community did.
Sure.
We had some of the biggest meetings we'd ever had at the library and at Netherlurk. People came and gave us their input. You were there.
Yeah.
And we chose Plan E. And what we did is we reduced the campus by not building all the different buildings, as opposed to modifying. For instance, we left the gym out. We left some of the classroom buildings out.
Yes.
To be built later when we have the matching bond from the state.
Sure.
We ensured that we stayed in line for that matching bond. We're actually one of the few schools left that didn't give up that process, and we stayed in. So we anticipate to get that additional $14 million at some point when we can finish it. So, so the next thing, John, was that once we chose Plan E, we had been told by our architect, well, you should be able to build this for $13 million. We went out to bid. We got quotes coming back from contractors anywhere from 16 to 19 million. So we're $3 million short. That's when we came up with this custom-built alternative, manufactured buildings by JTS, and that's how we were able to make this happen. So these are going to be custom-built, manufactured prefabs, basically. But if you go and see these, they've had airports, they've had college campuses made out of this stuff. It just looks amazing. So we were able to get it under budget and be able to finally start it. So that's what's going on today.
Well, congratulations and thanks on behalf of the community for sitting in the chair and persevering through it.
You're very welcome, John. I appreciate that. And one last person I wanted to thank, as you saw today, was Norm Hickling, where they said, everything is ready to go except you can't have water for your construction because we have a drought. And, it's little things like that have been going on, but we finally were able to secure that. And as you know, 2 days ago we started the project. Hopefully this will be done so the class of 2015-2016 can have in 1 year from now, can have a new school. Let's pray on that and hope that happens.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rebekah, now you're a sophomore here and you're part of the ASB?
Yes.
What position do you hold?
Well, I ran for junior class president, but our girl who was running against me won. So right now I'm just a student in ASB.
Okay, well, but your class eventually will graduate from the new high school.
Yes.
If you do graduate.
Yeah.
No.
Hopefully.
No, I know you will, but what do you think about that?
I think it's really exciting. It's definitely going to be a big improvement. I mean, so many kids have been saying that they want the new high school. Because our facilities here are down, we need this new school. Everybody is very pleased with it. They can't wait to get into the new classrooms and get started.
So you'll go in your senior year.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be in the new school in your senior year. What a present, huh?
I know, it's going to be huge.
And where do you live? Acton or Agua Dulce?
Agua Dulce.
Live in Agua Dulce, okay. And have you gone your whole school career here in the district?
No, I haven't actually. This is my first year.
Oh, really? Where do you come from?
I came from Heart District, West Ridge High School.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this is a little bit more primitive, maybe.
It's just very different. The school here is much older, so it has more of a heritage than West Ridge does.
Yeah.
And although the facilities are very different, the school is going to be
Well, congratulations on the new school.
Thank you.